Trust your gut feelings. I am female. At the time of my tale, I was 27 years old. I was living with my boyfriend, now fiance, in the same home we live in today. Our home is a small beach cottage with multiple windows on all sides. Seems like you're living the dream, girl. The home was moved in the 17th from a rural beach town just a few miles from here to our quaint neighborhood amongst sprawling brick ranches. In what I imagined at the time to be the desirable little working class neighborhood on the edge of the town. Around the time of my story, my boyfriend will take frequent trips out of town, often for work but also an occasion to assist his older parents, who lived out of state, with their home repairs, remodeling, etc. He'd typically be gone for a few weeks, but up to 2 months at a time. Oh my god, 2 months. At this point, he'd been out of town for a week or so. I am tooting along in my day-to-day life like normal, going to work at my 9 to 5, working out in the evening, chores, rinse and repeat. One night I was laying in bed on the cusp of my sleepy melatonin stupor when suddenly I was jolted wide awake with an overwhelming feeling to get up and check that all the windows were locked. I thought it was strange impulse other than the fact that I hadn't checked the windows since my boyfriend had left. I had no rational reasons to think of the windows right then. No strange sounds, nothing of that nature. I begrudgingly dragged myself from my cozy cocoon to check the windows. Most were locked up tight, but there were a few that had been left unlocked. I threw the lock latches that had been left unsecured and groggily stumbled back to the bed, not thinking anything else about it as I drift off to sleep. The next morning, as usual, I woke up to the cringe-inducing alarm blaring from my phone and began readying myself for work. I started the water kettle for my beloved French press and stood at my kitchen window waiting for the whistle. My entire body instantly coated in the dreaded truth bumps, aka goosebumps, as I noticed a single slice in my kitchen window screen. Utterly shocked, I ran to the office, then to the guest room, to the laundry room, and as I'm sure you've already guessed, the reader, every screen in my home had a single slice in it. A slice just large enough to fit a hand through. All but 3 screens out of 18 windows in my house had been sliced. 18 windows, oh my god, girl. The 3 that were left untouched were the windows to my bedroom, the bedroom that I peacefully slept my butt off in while someone attempted to get in. By this time, my kettle was scratching at me to remove it from the heat. I ran shaking to the kitchen to answer the kettle's call while attempting to not to kill over, to not to trip over maybe from the second heart attack I was having before I'd even addressed. I was freaked out beyond measure. I will be too, like, what the fuck? The cops were called and detective came out to investigate. On the backside of my house, he noticed a single handprint on one of the windows. He tested for fingerprints and determined the person attempting to get in was wearing gloves. Oh my god. He, of course, had no proof, but he also believed that the person must known I was in that room. Nothing ever came of the investigation. I can't explain why I got out of the bed that night, but now I will forever trust my gut. Follow up. This was 5 or so years ago. I know that those slices weren't there when I checked the windows last night. We often chose fresh air over our. Okay. We would have noticed the screens. No mention. My fiance is a bit anal retentive. We have since installed motion lights and cameras. Good, that's very good. Nothing even vaguely similar has happened since that night. That's good. My boyfriend was unable to come home immediately, and let me tell you, those few nights alone after the incident were the scariest night of my life. The police did regularly nightly patrols of my neighborhood for a few weeks following, but no suspects were ever found. I think this is the scariest part, that no suspect was found. Like, that man clearly knew that you were alone and he was about to do some terrifying things to you. That was premeditated, and thank yourself for listening to your instincts. And yeah, your instincts are so sharp. Always trust them. You, the one that are watching this, trust your gut, trust your instinct, and you better be safe than sorry. So original, I know. What would you do if you were in this situation? Would you put some cameras? What would you do? Because this is the solution. Put some cameras and lock your windows, like, good. Oh my god, I'm still shaken up about this story. Sends shivers to my spine because it's real. It's so real. It's scary. Okay, see you next time. Bye, creepers.